Hello Wolves! This season is so close you can almost touch it. Just a couple more days until it's released. Every day leading up to the new season of the Umbrella Academy, I have been releasing recaps on each member of the Academy. So if you want to go see the previous recaps I have done, they are in the description down below. Today's recap is just about number 5, so like I said, if you want to go see anyone specifically, they are down below in the description. So what I'm doing is a season 1 arc recap on each character. So you'll have to have known the show and have watched it. This is just like a refresher to get you ready for season 2. So for example, when certain characters pop up like Hazel and Cha-Cha, I will not be explaining or going into detail about who they are because this is just a refresher. Five was one of the 43 children born on the 1st of October 1989 to a woman who had not started a day pregnant. In exchange for money, baby Five was given to the eccentric billionaire Reginald Hargreeves, who gathered 7 of the 43 children like Pokemon for his vigilante group, the Umbrella Academy. Like his siblings, Five was born with a gift. He can jump through both space and time. In the first episode, we are introduced to the Hargreaves children minus 5, because according to Pogo, he had disappeared 16 years, 4 months and 14 days earlier. Throughout the first half of the episode, we hear Vanya talk about Five and how she misses him, and how she even left the lights on for him just in case he came back. Out of all his siblings, Vanya seemed closest to Five. Well, it seems like it is her lucky day, as that afternoon, Five comes back. He interrupts his siblings' dance party, which is just rude, by dropping through a rift in time. He appears as an old man before falling through and returning to his 13-year-old body. To say the least, the rest of the Hargreaves were shocked. Five explains to his shocked siblings as he makes himself some food that he went to the future and was here for 45 years, so his body may be 13, but his mind and his consciousness is actually 58. Five actually explains how he came back, but just like his siblings, I also didn't understand the word of it. Later on at his father's memorial, he witnessed his brothers fighting and the destruction of Ben's statue, but doesn't seem too bothered by the drama. Seemingly fed up with the lack of coffee at the academy, Five goes to a local donut shop where he finally gets a cup of coffee, but also gets a group of assassins sent to kill him, which the coffee does not make up for. Of course, Five makes quick work of these attackers, but they do reveal important intel, that a tracker is in Five. He locates it and makes short work of removing it. Five heads to Vanya's, the only person he can trust, and tells her that in 8 days, the apocalypse will happen. Casual stuff to drop on a person. We see a flashback to Five in the burning post-apocalyptic world where he sees the date, so he knows when the apocalypse is taking place. During another flashback scene, Five tries to convince his dad that he's ready to time travel, but Reginald, the stubborn man he is, doesn't think he is ready. Perhaps to prove his father wrong, Five runs out of the house in the middle of dinner and performs a time jump that he would soon regret. The first 2 go well, and he feels confident, but the third sends him to a world on fire, one he can't leave no matter how many times he tries. He tells Vanya how he survived on cockroaches all alone. Five aged as years passed, but when he came back to the current time, he got the equations wrong, causing his aged body to regress into a 13-year-old one. Vanya doesn't seem to believe him, but promises they will continue the conversation the next day. She asks him to stay the night on the couch. She's just happy he's finally home. He agrees, and Vanya heads to bed. Five admires a glass eye. Turning it over, he notes the manufacturer on the back. He goes to the company that made the eye to seek out information. He asks one of the scientists for this information, but Five is in the body of a child, and patient confidentiality is an actual thing, so the scientists refuse to give him anything. So, Five comes up with a genius plan to hire Klaus to pretend to be his father to get this information. Klaus is way too into it, and with an unorthodox approach, the pair get the information. Unfortunately, the eye had not been made yet, so he was nowhere closer to finding out who it belonged to. Five makes a pit stop at a clothing store to reunite with Dolores, his companion during the apocalypse. He finds her among other mannequins striking a pose, but the loving reunion is cut short by gunfire aimed at him. Hazel and Cha-Cha have arrived, hunting down Five and shooting Dolores in half. In desperation, Five grabs Dolores and tries to make a jump, but can't with Dolores in his hands. thanks to some police arriving to distract Hazel and Cha-Cha. This gives Five enough time to hide and run with Dolores. Another flashback shows Five just arriving at the apocalypse. He sees the ruins of the academy, and after climbing through the rubble, Five finds the dead bodies of his now older looking siblings. When he gets to Luther, he sees the glass eyeball clutched in his brother's hand, almost like Luther snatched it right out of the person's socket. Five, and most importantly Dolores, keep watch on the scientists from the company that manufactured the glass eye. He keeps surveillance outside of the lab. Both Luther and Klaus join him in the van to inform Five about Grace and how they want him to contribute to the decision to keep Grace on or to turn her off, because they think it's important. Luther believes that Five thinks he's better than the rest of them, and then Five gives him this iconic line.
I don't think that I'm better than you, number one. I know I am.
Towards the end of the day, Five spots the scientist receiving money and looking super fucking shady. Now with evidence that the scientist is being dodgy, he makes his move, cornering the man. The scientist reveals that he's been selling prosthetics on the black market, and that's maybe where the eye came from. There's a list of these customers, but they're back at the lab. So off on the trip they go. They get to the lab, but Five is devastated, because not only is the lab on fire, but all the information he needs is burning right in front of him. So what does he do? Well, he gets drunk and goes to the local library with Dolores, where he's later found by Diego and Luther and is taken to Diego's room at the gym. Now alone with Luther, Five tells his story. When he flashed forward to the future, he found a world on fire. His only piece of solace was a mannequin called Dolores, who he fell in love with and was his companion throughout the years. Five grew old in the post-apocalyptic world with his beloved Dolores at his side. On an average day with Dolores, the day turns south when Five spots a mysterious woman waving at him. The woman explains that she works for the Commission, who are tasked with checking the timeline and making sure people don't rewrite the history. The woman, who calls herself the Handler, offers Five a job. If he accepts and works for 5 years, he gets to retire in a time of his choice. Five, of course, accepts and becomes an assassin for the Commission. He pulled off major historical events, but it was all to buy time for him to get back to the Academy to stop the apocalypse. He does this and of course manages to make his way back to his siblings and, well, more importantly, interrupt their dance party. Again, rude. When the story's finished, Five also lets Luther in on what he found when he first went to the future. Their dead bodies. Luther takes it well. Back at the Academy, Five spots Klaus acting odd. Well, odder than normal. He questions Klaus's behaviour, but quickly works out that Klaus used a time travel briefcase, one that belongs to Cha-Cha and Hazel, and had been taken to a different time. Five now has a way to go back in time and restart his quest to stop the apocalypse, but that moment of happiness is crushed when Klaus reveals he smashed the case up. But not all hope is lost. Five writes the killers a note to meet up. Before the meeting, Five starts narrowing down who is responsible for the apocalypse. He's picked out 4 people. His calculations are interrupted by Luther, who wants to know if Five had killed innocent people, and if he would kill these 4 people that potentially could be innocent. And Five says yes. Luther can't accept the killing of the 4 suspects because they would be innocent. He tries to stop Five by hanging Dolores outside the window, and Five doesn't react calmly. Should never come between someone and his mannequin. Finally, time for the meeting. A Western type showdown between Five, Luther, Cha-Cha and Hazel. Five has brought along a fake time travel briefcase, which he hands off with the promise that they contact the handler for him, which Cha-Cha goes off to do. It seems to be going well. And then Klaus and Diego crash the party with an ice cream truck and ruins the handoff. Cha-Cha and Hazel jump on the defense and believe that it was a setup, so they open fire on the brothers. Time stops still, literally, as the handler makes her appearance. This time she offers Five a new position at the company, a management position. She only offers this to get him to stop messing with the timeline and attempting to stop the apocalypse. Five sees an opportunity to gain new info, so he agrees, as long as the handler sees about keeping his family alive and safe, and also maybe a new body for him as well. Five goes along with her. The handler takes Five to the Commission's headquarters, which seem to be located in 1955. He gets a full tour around the company, even passing a briefcase room. They end their tour at Five's new desk. He's now one of the many caseworkers at the Commission. In fact, because of Five's many achievements, he's given a very difficult case as his very first assignment. During a lull, Five steals the case file on the apocalypse. He stuffs it up his jacket and goes into a toilet stall to read it, though is soon interrupted by the handler coming in and using the toilet. While using the bathroom, the handler lets loose that the commission is swift and harsh when it comes to breaches in the timeline. Good to know. It's very, very reassuring. Good, toilet conversation going on. Five goes to the handler's office and eats some sweets that she's left out for him, and also puts them in his pocket for later. The handler reassures Five that they are working on his new body, which Five is pleased at. He's also interested in the weapons she's collected throughout the years. During another lull, Five sends messages to both Hazel and Cha-Cha telling them to kill each other. He intercepts a message going out to the killers to protect Harold Jenkins. He now knows who starts the apocalypse. The handler catches Five red-handed and a fight ensues, with of course Five coming out on top by throwing a grenade through to the handler, blowing her up and in extension the building, including the time travel briefcases, which kind of implode and cause the day to start over again. Five space jumps back to the academy to interrupt Luther telling the others about the apocalypse and their deaths. Now armed with the right information, they know who starts the apocalypse, a man named Harold Jenkins, and they know they have to stop him. Five tells them where he got the information and why it's reliable. The group split up and search for clues, with Diego, Allison and Five forming a group to gather info on Harold Jenkins via the police station. Diego gets his file and Allison makes a startling discovery that Harold Jenkins is actually Leonard Peabody, Vanya's boyfriend. With his address in their hands, they rush there and immediately find a creepy room full of Umbrella Academy merch and memorabilia, and photos of the group, but their eyes are scratched out. This guy has a huge vendetta against the Academy. The revelation doesn't get a chance to settle when a bullet wound from Five's battle with the handler rears his ugly head and Five collapses from blood loss. He gets taken back to the Academy and cared for by Grace. Five is called into a family meeting by Klaus the very next day. Klaus tells Five and Luther the real reason their father died. It wasn't some mysterious murder, but it was a suicide. He knew that his death would be the only way his family would reunite to save the world. And with confirmation from Pogo, the three now know the truth. Recovered from the day before, Five has a new zest for stopping the apocalypse. They pick up Luther and drive off towards Harold's grandma's house to stop Harold and to get Allison and Vanya. But when they get there, Vanya and Harold aren't there, but Allison is, and she's bleeding out on the floor. Allison is quickly tended to by Grace at the Academy. Five, Diego and Klaus go back to Harold's to search for him. Their search doesn't take long as they find Harold's deformed body, but no sign of Vanya. With the cause dead, the apocalypse has been stopped and Five's sole purpose for being there has been achieved. Five even matches up the glass eyeball with Harold's empty eye socket, confirming to him that Harold was the cause. With no apocalypse to occupy his time, Five is bored. He makes himself a drink and answers the door to Hazel, who wants to help stop the apocalypse now that he's falling in love with Agnes from the donut shop. Five lets him in on the good news, but before he can celebrate, he's ambushed by a vengeful Diego. Five watches on in amusement, but breaks them up when the biting starts. He draws a line at that. Now knowing he's achieved his end goal, Five takes Dolores back to the place they first met, the clothing store. He sets her down next to her friends and has a heartfelt goodbye. He also asks a member of staff to give Dolores something new to wear, and that she likes sequins. I really hope that member of staff actually dressed her in sequins. While Five was saying goodbye to Dolores, back at the Academy, Vanya was fully extending her powers, bringing the Academy down on top of everyone inside and walking away like a boss. Once Five joins his siblings in the wreckage, he comes to the conclusion that Vanya is the actual cause of the apocalypse, and that they're gonna have to stop her. So what better place to plan is than a bowling alley? Luther suggests everyone prepare for the worst, while Diego thinks that there may be other options. Thanks to Klaus, they know that Vanya will be at the Icarus Theatre that night. After some family drama, Five is left with Diego and Klaus, whose mother, whose actress has been in nearly all of these episodes as an extra, which could be its own theory. If she is in the new season in the past, she's an agent of the commission, okay? I'm calling it now. Anyway, this mother mistakes Klaus and Diego for Five's parents and asks if he wants to go on a play date with her son. He takes it as well as to be expected. While waiting for the drama to die down, Five sees a message from the handler on a fortune cookie. Five realises she tracked him down by the sweets he took from her office. He goes to meet her at a motel, where she offers him another choice: abandon his family or stay and die with them. But he quickly works out that the entire conversation is a distraction to keep him from helping his family in the fight. Finally, Five gets to the Icarus Theatre to help. Thanks to Ben, the commission agents are taken care of quickly. Luthor suggests everyone ambushing Vanya all at once. They tried the last-ditch effort, but of course, Vanya overpowers them. Their life force is being drained, but with quick thinking by Allison, are released. They've done it. They've saved Vanya and they've saved the world. Well, an offshoot of Vanya's powers went straight to the moon, cracking it and sending moon rocks zooming down to Earth, ready to wipe out the human race. Realising the apocalypse is still very much on, Five offers an escape. Time travel. With nothing to lose, the family all agree. The last shot is of Five holding hands with his de-aging siblings as he takes them back in time. And that is Five's recap. I hope I've done justice there. Like I said, this is my first time doing recaps for all of these, so if I have done something wrong or if you think I can improve in some way, please let me know down below, so if I do more recaps in the future, I know what to do and what not to do. I hope you liked this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel because I do videos like this every single week and it's free and it's there, so you might as well click that bell if you want to be notified when I upload. I have social media down below that you can go follow. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Any video suggestions, let me know down below. What do you think of the Umbrella Academy? What do you think of Five? Five is one of my favourite characters from this show and I am super excited to see what they do with him in season 2. In fact, I'm just super excited for season 2 and what they do with any of the characters. And also super nervous. Please do not do anything to the characters. I beg. And I will see you next time. Bye little wolves. Bye.
I want